welcome to Jerry's random ramblings on this gaming stream. I'm just gonna enjoy a little bit of whiskey. And talk about metal, literally speaking, and also in terms of metal music. So welcome to this random game stream, and once again feel free to just ask me anything. Obviously I have no particular topic for this game streams. It's as much about gaming as it is answering your questions, your comments and whatnot. So feel free to comment and make this conversation more interesting, or then I might be just
here off the coast of Panama, where we just recovered
gaming.
what we believe to be the coffin
Hello,
of legendary
Vladimir
explorer Sir
Politov.
Francis Drake,
Great name.
who was buried at sea
Hello,
over
Sigurd.
400 years ago.
Last of Us.
Are
Great
you sure
game.
you want to be defiling your
Really
ancestors'
great
remains
game.
like that?
By the way, is this mic
Besides, thought you didn't believe me.
suitable volume?
Well, I did do my research, and apparently Francis Drake didn't have any children.
Well,
Now,
history can't be
about this
wrong, you know.
particular game which I chose for the stream is that
For example,
I played
you can't defile
every
an empty
Uncharted game until now except this first one. So I decided that let's give it a chance and get it done with. And thank you, Sigurd. Good to know the volume is alrighty. So we're ready to go.
You devil.
As long as I can
What is
just,
it?
Come on, stay
hold it
awake. To be honest, I've been
Deals
I've
for a
been eating
coffin.
like
That's it.
pork
Wait a
today.
minute. If my show hadn't have funded this expedition, you wouldn't have.
got your story, lady.
Look, Mr. Drake, you signed a contract. I have a right to see every single thing
Could
that's.
you hold that thought? Sully?
A Lost
we got some
Legacy.
trouble. Hurry it up.
That was
Okay,
great.
okay.
To be
What's
honest,
going
I
on?
think it's very much on par with
Pirates.
Uncharted 4, even though it's from
Yeah.
a different perspective
Modern
than
kind.
obviously the
They
first
don't
one
take
without
prisoners.
Nathan Drake.
At least not male prisoners.
Wait, what are you talking
So
about?
it's different, and yet at the same time it's very much kind of the
shouldn't we
same
call
in
the
a good
authorities or
way. It's a
something?
great
That'd be a
spin-off.
great
to be
idea,
honest.
but we don't
Hello,
exactly
Steve
have
Cobbs.
a permit to be here.
Nice to have you here on
What?
stream.
Yeah, so unless you want to end up in
Usually,
Panamanian
I
jail,
guess
we
most
should
people
probably
are
handle this
just
ourselves.
interested in my
Well, what's worse?
review videos
You
or
obviously haven't been in a
interviews,
Panamanian jail.
sometimes
You never
maybe
use one of
opinions,
Uh,
and that's
yeah,
totally
it's
fine,
like
obviously.
A camera. You just point and shoot, right?
I mean,
Good
to
girl.
each their own. I totally get that most people are not that
Here we go.
interested in my gaming, and that's totally fine. But, like I said, this is a great time to
how the hell they find us out here?
ask me
These guys have been
random
telling me for weeks.
questions and
Thought I
whatnot.
lost him.
So what'd you do to piss them off?
It's kind of a long story.
Oh, you enjoyed breakfast. That's good. I
These guys don't
haven't
like much, do they?
played myself, but I know the game.
more shooting.
You actually have that Dark Souls right here, but I think I will just finish this. Well, supposedly. I really suck at those hard games like Dark Souls, so I don't know whether it's gonna be entertaining or just goddamn boring.
Oh, no, you don't.
Hey, punch that motherfucker. But yeah, I had that Dark Souls basically ready.
Shoot to kill.
Brutal combo.
Whoa!
Let's go like some
Sully, where are you?
Gotta say, this doesn't look bad, but definitely not as good as the Beaver, which is kind of a.
Oh my God, Drake! I almost got some kind of rocket launcher.
Okay, that's not good.
Oh, I don't think I'm getting my security deposit back.
I'm just gonna die there. I didn't know where to go.
Damn it.
Let's just get some rocket launcher. Oh no, now I realize what's wrong. I don't have any whiskey in my glass.
Shit's gonna blow.
Too much action.
Oh wait.
What are you doing?
Okay.
That always cheers up the mood, right?
Go.
So what are you guys drinking? Are you drinking anything at all? It's, I assume, a bank holiday for you as well.
I can't leave you alone for a minute, can I?
I had everything under control until they blew up the boat.
One thing which
You
I
alright?
totally promised to
Nothing
talk to you
easy
about,
there,
and I know
Moses.
it probably interests
Well, if it isn't
people
the
jack
beautiful
shit,
and talented Elena
is that I finally tried my
Diary will get you screen time.
new
Yeah, more of a
deadlift
behind-the-scenes
bar
kind of guy.
today.
Victor Sullivan.
for deadlifts, that is.
For Christ's sakes.
And it's great.
What do you say we get out of here?
Actually,
Before we
uploaded
attract any more
a
attention?
short video on my Instagram about it, like how we do it during quarantine.
Well,
Little present from Sir Francis.
So Max Master,
Oh,
have
so
you
you found
played
the
Dark
comic.
Souls 3 yourself?
wait a minute, is this what I
If so,
think it is?
what did you
Drake's
like it?
lost diary. He faked his death, just like I said, Sully. He must have been onto something big.
Yeah, well, let's just keep that between us.
Thanks for the loan, Mr. Drake. I think I've earned a look at that diary when we land.
So look, when Drake sailed into the Pacific, he took the Spanish fleet completely by
Hello,
surprise.
Alex. How
He
are
captured
you,
their
my
ships.
Irish friend?
He took all their maps, their letters, their journals, and he recorded everything in this diary.
So this...
But when he got back to England, Queen Elizabeth confiscated all of his charts and logbooks, including this one, and then swore his entire crew to silence.
Yeah, so
You
this...
see, Drake discovered something on that voyage, Sully. Something
Yeah,
so secret,
well, this
so
Corona
valuable, they couldn't risk it
stuff
getting out.
really
All right, Nate, just
it's
pretend
busting
for a
our
minute that I don't
balls.
really care about any of that stuff.
Makes us
Just
to
would you?
spend more time
Man only
at home.
interested in the
Means more
climax.
games, more movies,
with the
more
ladies.
books,
Never had any complaints.
more TV shows.
Then, I'll jump to the good part, just for you.
I just read a few days ago that people have been
Yeah,
having less sex, more
He was
masturbating
onto something
with
big.
Corona.
Does it say
Can you
anything
imagine that?
Oh, so now you're interested, huh?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, no. Last page was torn out. I'm telling you, Sully. This is it. This is finally it.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. I mean,
We got
but imagine people would be having more
Yes,
sex.
that's what I said.
At least
Blew up.
people in,
It sank.
relationships
That's why
and
we have
whatnot. But
insurance, right?
it seems people have been going crazy.
Oh.
Just masturbating
No, the
furiously.
camera, no, the camera's fine. Don't worry
I mean,
about the camera.
nothing wrong with, masturbation as such, but still.
Sully, the girl can hold her own. You should have seen her.
Fine. You go on out there and you tell her, we just found the lost city of gold. Maybe her producer can get it on the air
Oh,
tonight.
come on.
Nate, do you trust me?
Too much Swiss food, so no sex.
Good.
That
Just
really
let
doesn't
every
make
two-bit
much sense.
scumbag in the
What's
world
wrong
racing us to
with
the
Swiss
target
food
unless
if
we
it
cut her loose right now.
cock blocks you?
You're a real gentleman, Sully.
I know. It stinks. She'll get over it.
Yes, Alex, that's
I don't
pretty
care
much
for it, I mean,
what I would imagine. I
This
mean,
could be like the biggest
you know,
story
the
of the year.
generation that is nowadays called boomers. It's actually baby boomers, which actually happened after World War II. So it's like events like these, war, epidemics, whatever. I mean, in general, it makes people to just, have more sex. People need kind of a hope, And what's better hope than, getting laid, right?
Oh, hold on. Hold on, kid. I'm not as young as I used to be.
Alright, Max, I get you. I mean, I've been eating like a pork today.
Yeah, you weren't too old for that little barmaid in Lima, were you?
For lunch. Wife made some lamb and mashed potato, really good. I love that lamb. That kind of an Eastern lamb, And
reminds me.
well,
Ever tell you about the time I
then I have to do some groceries and stuff. Had my
risky move, but by the time
workout session with deadlift. So obviously, once again, I'm more hungry. So I decided to start the barbecue season, and made a couple of burgers. And then after the burgers, I went some high protein ice cream, which I just bought from the grocery store. Just like, hey, I could test this one. And then after one, we had some really good cheese. And I feel like really bloated. I had some really great Danish beer. Sort of like citrus spontaneous beer. Really great stuff with that cheese. I think it was some Belgium cheese, those guys know how to make goddamn good cheese. The cheese and beer, I mean, when you have good, craft beer, and
there's nothing here, Nate.
craft beer and cheese, it's goddamn delicious, man.
Relax. Let's take a look around.
Oh, man. This is like trying to find a bride in a brothel. Hell no. This is more like it.
Yeah, I know Matterhorn. It's a beautiful mountain. Really, kind of a really unique how it looks.
Nah, it's older than that.
Must be awesome to
2,000
live
years
there. I mean, I've never been to Switzerland, but I would love to visit the Alps, like Switzerland, Austria, and places like that. So Matterhorn is definitely one of those places I would like to visit someday.
Whoa. Be careful up there.
But it must have been quite cold, I would
Something funny
imagine.
about the ground down there.
I don't know how cold it gets around that. Hello, Gyro Lamp. Is it Gyro Lamp?
It's hollow.
That reminds me of,
Find a way to smash through this.
yeah, Nietzsche country.
Oh.
Nice beers in Switzerland. I gotta say, I don't think I have ever had a Swiss beer. Not that I think of it. Am I supposed to correct this piece? Let's find out. No, Jerry, that's not your way to jump, man. I don't even know what kind of beer people drink in Switzerland, to be honest. Like, no clue. Alright, where should we go? Did I miss something right there? Oh yeah. Felslöschen Kühlfisch. That doesn't really tell me anything. So Max, please enlighten us about that. Alright, now we found a way. I guess we must just push these motherfuckers.
Good work, kid.
And Swiss people must be fanatic about neutrality, you know? We don't want to big side in war. We don't want to do this and that, but I can take your money. Please give me your money. Now that I think of it, I don't not even know if I have ever met a Swiss person. I don't even know how Swiss people are like.
Quite what you were expecting, huh?
Yeah. Where's all the damn gold?
Yeah, this
I
place
just know
was
that
picked clean centuries ago.
Swiss
No good life.
people have created some great music.
No, it
You know,
wasn't Drake.
Sally Frost,
Check this out.
Samuel,
Looks like the Spanish got here before he did.
Dog Space.
What the hell, Sully?
Nate, I'm not looking for a lousy piece of tin. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. I was really...
Ungfell, that don't I only know by name. I don't think I have heard it.
Too many big bar tabs and legal.
Well, and you know about the money, there is a great old ancient Roman saying, pecunia non olet, means money doesn't stink. I mean, even if you pick it out of ass, money is still money.
Supposed to mean?
That reporter? I saw the way you were eyeing her.
Elena? Please. I snuffed any chance with her the second we ditched her on that dock.
All's fair in love and war, kid.
And what if you can't tell the difference?
Then, my friend, you are in big trouble. The Spaniards sure left a lot
But
of
yeah,
crap
definitely a country I would love to visit. I don't know if I have actually mentioned it ever on the channel, you know,
Careful, Nate.
in any of the videos, because I guess it doesn't really make sense to just randomly talk about it, but I fucking love traveling, you know.
Gotta find a way across.
Yeah, I could guess, you know, in Switzerland you actually have way better, like, real mountains. For example, in Finland we don't have really, like, real mountains. They are like these fells at best, you know. Hello, Paul. Well, now you're gonna see the first
Hey, that looks like an old powder keg over there.
Uncharted game, which is probably the well, not the best one, that is. Can we shoot this? No. Give me treasure. No.
Try shooting that keg. Maybe the powder's still good.
Why do you see it? Yeah, I think Uncharted 3, 4. Well, I think the 2 was actually better than the third one, but I think fourth one and that Lost Legacy, they are probably the best. These are really good Indiana Jones kind of games. I mean, you all know Indiana Jones, right? Don't tell me that you're that young generation who are clueless about the Indiana Jones. At least people like my age, from 70s and 80s and all that stuff. We grew up with Indiana Jones as much as we did with Star Wars and shit.
Here, let me do that.
And Tomb Raider games are obviously very much that. Okay, now this guy is going. Sully, don't go into walls. You can't do that. All right, Max. Thank you for being on board. Take care and see you with the reviews. Yeah, basically a review every day except for interview and opinion days. I must say I grew up with Star Wars and I still love them very, very much. But I get it. It's not like those movies are for everybody, because we kind of a space opera. I know that some people don't call them sci-fi because it's
All right, let go. This ought to hold it.
space opera, whatever.
Hurry, Sully.
But yeah, I mean, Star Wars and Indiana Jones, they're very much alike. I mean, there is clearly this George Lucas
Oh, this looks familiar. I think there's something in
thing
Drake's journal
going
about
on
this.
with both series.
Yeah, here it is. Looks like this thing is some kind of lamp or brazier.
And Tomb
See
Raider
if
and
you can light it.
Uncharted games are both very much related to
about the cigar.
this
Now it comes in
mentality
handy, huh?
about Indiana Jones, raiding tombs, fighting bad guys, be it Nazis or drug lords or whatever, and collecting treasures, obviously, solving puzzles and all that stuff. So very enjoyable in storytelling, in my opinion, as well as the humor, especially with Uncharted games. Maybe more so than with Tomb Raider, or not maybe, but clearly more. And in general, very movie-like feeling in so many ways.
We gotta figure a way to clear this debris.
Yeah, let's clear the debris. Solid, do something. Don't make me do everything. There must be some thing. Can I push this?
This wood's pretty dry. I bet we could burn it.
Alright, let's burn it. But can I actually push this motherfucker down? No.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Now what?
This is actually pretty cool, even though these graphics are a little bit outdated. But this is, in my opinion, one of those maybe more easy to just, sit around and, watch the gaming. Because this is rather fast-paced in storytelling. And there's always
I might have been able to do that 30 years ago.
some action going on, and funny deaths, obviously. Yeah, I would usually just, go like, hey, let's just randomly jump about. Okay, let's just quickly jump before I actually die. Alright, so we're down here. Just explode everything, right? Okay, let's move on. I think the game mechanics of this series has been pretty much the same throughout the years. Obviously, I'm not sure yet about this one because, well, just started it with this stream. But it seems like this is very much the same as the other Uncharted games, and well, also Tomb Raider games. Which again kind of makes sense. When you kind of learn a control scheme, you're pretty much cool to just continue. You don't have to look out for the controls and figure out like the game mechanics. You can just focus on the action and the story. So it's rather easy to enjoy.
Now what?
Great to have these random messages popping in my window, which are clearly some spam. You want to see my sexy pictures?
Wait,
No,
I
I don't,
recognize
because you're
these
not
symbols.
so sexy, and you also because you're a scam.
The order of these signs has some importance.
Quebecian bands. Thanks, Mark. I guess you are a Canadian, maybe yourself. Your name could imply that, and uh, you being a fan of these Canadian interviews. Thank you, Mark. Well, there are plenty of videos coming up. Not so many interviews this year, obviously, because of the Corona situation. But well, we have still like 3 ones coming in next few weeks. Actually, the next one is on Tuesday. So at least something is coming up. But to be honest, I don't know when the next ones are supposed to take place, because this corona has actually affected so much this you know, these gigs. Thank you. About the Mysticum, I really was happy to get them. Too bad it's quite noisy, but still it's a great band. Am I supposed to shoot these or something? No. Maybe push them?
Hey, something's happening.
Alrighty. Yeah, and even though I'm not that big fan of a Cataclysm, as you know, the music, he was really a nice guy. So I was kind of happy to get that interview going. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter how good the band is in terms of, you know, with music, because what matters to me is that these people are actually interesting to talk to, you know. Sorry, what was again? This Inca warrior. Let's see. So was it here? Yes, this one. So where is the button? Which way to go? Which way to go? Alright, Mr. Inca Warrior. And about Mysticum, I think it's actually one of the best bands bands from Norway, you know, even not that many albums out, but I mean, it's what they did is actually fantastic because, well, they are so different from other Norwegian bands, you know. So it's not like your typical black metal band from the 90s. I think it's quite overlooked band as not being so known, obviously. Not too many albums out and long break and whatnot. But, you know, those guys created something really original back in the days already. So kind of a band that is underrated. I don't usually care to talk about so much whether one band is underrated or overrated or whatever, but I think that very much applies to Mysticum in the sense that their style of industrial black metal is very sinister, and it's very unique, it's aggressive, and it's totally different from most of the other bands in Norway anyway.
Pretty deep.
Thanks for asking, Paul. That is a
It's like there's
great
11
question.
tons of the side.
Out of
Wait here
my
while I
head,
check
I
it
would
out.
have to say I would pick some of the
Just be
dead
careful.
ones because obviously those are less accessible. So I guess it would have to be maybe Gorton from Bathory. It also could be Lemmy from Motorhead. Then again, I'm a big fan of Death, so could be that as well. But I don't know. Maybe Gorton because Bathory is one of the most influential bands, not only in black metal but also the whole Viking metal stuff. Actually, I've been listening to a lot of Bathory recently. I just like listened to 5 albums by Bathory last last Saturday, and during the last week I
Hey, watch
actually
your step down there.
listened to a bit more Bathory, and I finished the soundtrack just today actually with Nordland 2. So obviously I'm making some video about Bathory for the channel. And would be cool to feature Fergur's new album for the channel. But I don't know, the band guy hasn't actually contacted me yet, so I don't know if he's up for that. Can I imagine back in the day interview someone like Dead for Mayhem? I think Dead was way too shy back in the day. So I didn't know if he would be actually that type of guy who would actually do interviews. So really can't imagine doing that. More like it would be more like Euronymous who would be doing that interview. Alex, you haven't listened to Bathory. What the fuck? That is maybe the most important black metal band of all times. I mean, yeah, surely Venom has its place. Obviously, Celtic Frost has its place, but I think Bathory is way more influential to Scandinavian black metal, especially, and also all the Viking metal bands. I mean, to be honest, hands down, I think Bathory is the best of all these old school black metal bands, the first wave, if you will. Yeah, Under the Sign of the Black Mark is probably the best of those two. I shouldn't really, you know, just kind of tell how the order would be when I'm doing the best of Bathory. Worst to best. Well, yeah, I know, Alex. I mean, there are lots of bands which I have missed during my time, so also obviously I kind of know what you mean. So, I mean, there are lots of bands which I have totally missed the whole discography. And yeah, Venom is way too much kind of a rock and roll and all that stuff, but I mean, Bathory is the shit. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're listening to those 3 first tier black metal albums. Or if you're talking about Bloodfire Death, which is just superb album. But they are all great. And also Viking
somewhere.
metal stuff, which Bathory went on later on with Bloodfire Death. I mean,
don't tell me you're
he
gonna
just
swim in
created fantastic
I've been in
work.
worse.
Yeah, well, depends which era one is definitely go. I think without bands like Bathory, there wouldn't be bands like Primordial or Mood Sorrow. There wouldn't be bands like Burzum. There would be a lot less bands creating that stuff. Can I now jump that and whee?
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Yeah, I can. Hammerheart is so goddamn beautiful album, really.
I'm really wet.
I mean, the trash albums by Bathory, they are not really good, but again, once again, I will be talking about more about Bathory with that video, which I'm gonna make about Bathory now that I'm once again, I have freshened my memory with all the albums. I mean, I have heard obviously every album by Bathory a long time ago. Like I think by the early 2000s when Nordland albums came out, I had already gone through all the Bathory ones. But still, I mean, there's been like 15 years since I had listened to some of those albums. And yeah, Octagon and Requiem, they are
this one.
pretty bad. I mean, not only song-wise, but the production is just horrible. I don't know what the hell Gordon was thinking.
This looks
The
safe.
drum machine is way worse with those albums than what it was before that.
Get out of there.
Alright, let's run before we die. No, 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 he says. And I failed to jump. But the Bathory is a band that one should not miss, especially if being into extreme metal in any ways. I mean, there are bands which you can just skip. I mean, I don't mind if somebody just skips Venom, you know? I mean, that is kind of understandable in a way.
I'm okay.
But skipping Bathory is like, no, no.
Now it looks like we're getting somewhere.
After that, we better be.
That's true, Gyro. I think Gordon did a big part of bringing the kind of Nordic ancestry into the lyrics and the kind of a worldview, with, you know, not so much being kind of Vikings, but, you know, being pagans and being proud of your own country and history and all that stuff, the culture.
The temple must have been built around
Yeah,
this.
Nordlands are underrated. I mean, they are not as great as what Bathory peaked with
Gold statue.
Hammerheart and Twilight of the
Gold
Gods, but
statue.
still,
And look here.
they're
These
great
people,
comeback
they're
albums.
Worshipping the damn thing. At least I think they're people.
And I think at least Bathory, well,
the
of course,
Golden
on
Man.
kind of
Sully, it wasn't a city of gold. It was
evolved
this. It was a
as
golden knight.
vocalist throughout the years.
You
Even
imagine
though
what that thing would
he
be
never
worth
got
now.
great,
Look over here.
but I
Tracks.
think he's a little bit
bet the
better with
Spanish
this
tracked it down and cut it
Nordland
off.
albums than what he was with, you know,
We're
their later
400
ones.
years late for this party.
So the trail's cold.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Son of a bitch.
But just, you know, especially under the Son of the Black Mark, if you just listen to those riffs, those
All the tracks.
memorable songs which he created, I mean, that must have been kind of setting things into motion in the Norwegian and Swedish black metal, because he kind of created the whole sound and the feeling, and how it would be. So Bathory is really
Stop here.
Yeah, looks like the back wall of the temple.
so great stuff.
Yeah. Spaniards must have.
But
made
I would
themselves
say
a shortcut to get
going
the
in
treasure
the discography order is pretty cool, because if you start with the self-titled ones, then you move to Return, and from that, if you move to Under the Sign of Black Mark, you will find out how the band progressed, and the big step from those to Bloodfire Death. Thanks for asking, Paul. I think North American sound, especially so-called Cascadian sound, Wolves in the Throne Room, Panopticon, and all that stuff. I mean, they surely have their own kind of a feeling, kind of a unique atmospheric stuff. Most of them are not as good as they could be with that
Sully, do you hear that?
subgenre. But I think what I like that is that they're not just copying the Nordic style. It's just their own kind of a style with the atmospheric parts. And I think Cascadian black metal is real good in that. But never like too much Wolves in the Throne Room. First of all, I think most of their songs are way too lengthy. They don't really have memorable material. They are not very good with melodies, leads, and whatnot. I kind of like the atmosphere though, but
Let's check it out, huh?
it's still, I think, very much work in progress. I remember
Thinking.
the debut album Making Waves in Finnish scene back when it came, before people kind of got upset of them being a leftist band and whatever.
I'll check it out myself. I'll call you.
I don't think they're that bad. I mean,
Right. You do that.
I think they're on their own path, and
Hold on to this
that
for me.
was the thing.
Okay. Looks like I'm gonna have to do this the hard way.
But in my opinion, the best American black metal bands, hands down, two bands, Abzu and Judas Iscariot. No, not Cranberry Elski, not Black Witchery, not Black Funeral. They are not even close. Well, Black Funeral has some cool stuff, but Von and especially Abzu and Judas Iscariot, they are the shit. But I mean, what I'm trying to say about Wolves in the Throne Room and okay, this is the way to die. What I like about this Cascadian sound is that they're actually creating something, their own. Like I said, it's not copying the Nordic black metal sound, but creating something different. And I think that's actually important. Well, I wouldn't go as far to say Judas Iscariot a Dark Throne cover band or worship band is like what it usually is. But surely there's a lot of similarities. But then again, Dark Throne also evolved quite quickly. If you compare Dark Throne to Bathory, you will see the similar pattern. I mean, well, Dark Throne started as a death metal band, but they pure black metal period, as what they are usually known as the Unholy Trio or Unholy Four, from A Blaze in the Northern Sky to Panzerfaust. Then they started to shift, and once they kind of abandoned their black metal for the kind of proto heavy, well, that lasted for a bit, and then they later on changed their style. So in so many ways, Dark Throne has changed more than many other bands, and I think Judas Iscariot was, through the whole career, I mean the whole span of their albums, it was way more kind of true to its own style rather than changing like Dark Throne. I mean, obviously bands can do what the fuck they want with their own style. I'm not judging. I'm merely pointing out that some bands don't do so good choices. But even though there are lots of similarities, I think that Judas Iscariot is actually better than what they're getting credit for their music. What the fuck? I was gonna go inside. Yeah, that's why one of the things which I like about Judas Iscariot that it's so goddamn raw. Which album? Basically any album, but even all the first ones are maybe a little bit too rough to start with. They're quite bad drumming and all that stuff. It seems like that the band member cannot keep up with the tempo. I mean, he didn't have a drummer back in the day, so I think Akhenaten was doing the drums by himself. Now I'm wondering what the fuck I'm supposed to go. Doesn't really grab this place. So I'm not sure which album. There's so many years since I've been listening to Judas Iscariot since the last time. I can't even remember all the albums. Descent and Solitary Night, I think, is one of the better ones. But basically, almost any album is rather safe bet. Because it's not like the style or quality changes too much. But I cannot remember out of the bat, which would be my favorite. Too many years since I've been actually having the time to listen to them. But I mean, good discography in general. Judas Iscariot, very underrated band for being one of those good raw black metal bands. Very kind of a doctrine worship bands. What if I just drop down? Like, I mean, should I go? Okay, this makes sense. Where to start with Horna? That's a good question because I mean they're pretty solid and consistent band. Depends. Some people favor the Nazgul. See you, Sigurd. It was fun to chat with you. With Horna, I mean some people favor Satanic War Master. I mean Nazgul when he was the vocalist. Some people favor that era. Some favor one of the other guys, like the guy who was in the middle, who is now Gorgondrus, and well, some are about the new style, but my favorite one of Horna would be Evangels of Satan. My favorite Bathory album, well, I'm gonna talk about that in my Bathory worst to best video, so I'm not gonna just answer just yet. Just wait for it. I'll try to make it rather soon and get back to you why I favor certain Bathory albums over others. I mean I know my favorite, but I don't want to reveal it just right yet. Okay, come on guys, where the fuck I'm supposed to go? I'm probably just missing something obvious here. This old fart of mine isn't exactly helping, right? Climb the mountain right here, you mean? Okay, how stupid of me not to. No, I came all the way from here. This is not the way. This is not the direction. Have a great night, you too, of which name I cannot even pronounce. Because I don't know Russian names. Not there. No. Is there a place I can actually climb? No. Doesn't let me go beyond that place. Okay, so it lets me go this way. It kind of makes sense. Alright, we found something here. Yes, maybe. This is something that has actually changed with the more recent versions of this game, is that they actually have a better hint system. Like, I mean, if you're stuck, like it seems I was, the game kind of points out that, okay, you dumb fuck, go this way. I mean, I don't mind that it's not holding my hand, but sometimes, you know, the graphics don't actually tell you where to go, you know? Like in real life you could just try the impossible route, but games are like, no, you can't just have your hands right there. Right. This is some proper rock climbing. Treasures. So guys, what do you think about Absu calling it quits? I don't actually know what's the story with Batushka right now. It seems like a very weird case, to be honest. To be honest, I don't care either way, you know, about the band drama.
Nate, you should be able to drop right down into the U-boat from there.
Oh, thanks you, Captain Obvious.
buddy.
It was so funny that when I did the review for of this, Batushka, people were kind of a little bit upset when I said that the new album was actually good. They were like hurt because I like the wrong band. They just kind of like couldn't get beyond the
I'm in.
What do you see?
past the
Something
fact
nasty
that
happened to
music
these
is
guys.
music, no matter
blood
who
everywhere.
makes it.
And soup.
What?
So it's kind of a funny, and at the same time, people were like bitching to me, like, "Why are you bitching and blaming about Christian black metal? Like, why would you care?" So it seems like it's people are bitching certain bands, like you should care, and with other bands you shouldn't care. You know, it's so funny. Yeah, that's my point, Alex. I mean, like, if you like the music, so what? You can enjoy both bands. Like I made the video about it when it came out. It's like with Venom. You have Venom, and you have Venom AD. I'm sorry, Venom Inc. You have Entombed and Entombed AD. You have various styles. Yes, Cosmic, that I get, but I mean, people were not saying that it wasn't about the music, but kind of I don't know, justifying that because it wasn't the right thing to do.
Yeah.
People don't even know what was going on. I mean, we don't know what names they had on paper. Maybe the original Batushka guy just,
Now, where'd you get this, my decomposing friend?
made stupid decisions. I mean, so many bands have been fucked over by labels throughout the years, and it's so easy to just,
I think the trail just got warm again.
bitch about
Well,
labels.
I just met a guy with
robbing
pockets full
the
of Spanish
music
gold.
or legacy
Only
or
the
whatever.
coins are stamped with a mint
But we
mark I've
often
never seen
forget
before.
that,
You're kidding me.
Looks like our German friends had a
Bands-
little secret.
Signed those 4 deals. I mean, well, you get what you deserve, man. Hello, Danny. Do you mean Cult of Fire? Or is there a band called Call of Fire? Cult of Fire is a band that was actually quite, well, not horrible, but not good when I saw them on stage a few years ago. And they looked rather funny with their pointy hats and whatnot, kind of like Christmas elves on stage. And I wasn't enjoying them. I mean, not horrible, but not good either. But when I later on, like a couple of years later, heard their mini CD, that was actually great stuff.
I'm in the captain's quarters. Get this.
So it was
He's
like a
still
different
here.
band on stage.
What's that supposed to mean?
That CD.
It looks like he was killed.
So I enjoyed
Ripped to
the
shreds,
album,
actually.
or well, MCD.
Oof, what a way
but
to go.
Those Christmas
Yeah,
elves on
sounds terrible.
stage,
Check his wallet.
not so convincing, to be honest.
You're all hearts, Sully. No way. You've got to be kidding.
Find anything, kid?
UK 2642. UK 2642. Gotcha.
Are you alright?
Sully, you're not gonna believe this.
Try me.
I think I found our missing page.
You're kidding.
Looks like Drake and our German pals were after the same treasure. I've got the map that's gonna lead us right to it.
Nate, this better not be another wild goose chase. We've got to get something out of this trip.
Or what?
But yeah, bands that have
Sully?
multiple
You there?
versions, like aforementioned Venom, Batushka, Entombed, in some way Gorgoroth. I mean, it's not the fans who actually lose with that case. I mean, usually you get to hear two different bands. You get to enjoy two good bands versus just one. I mean, obviously it sucks if the original members, for instance, are fucked over because of
That's
poor deals or whatever. But, you know, as audience, if you're having two versions of one good band, I think the audience is actually winning.
Hello.
Paul, if you haven't heard Call to Fire, I strongly suggest checking them out. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Not the most original, not the most typical band,
Young man, this is just business.
but
Easy.
some kind of a catchy, magical, nice atmosphere with the music.
Your friend owes
Just
you money, Mr. Drake.
try not to mind their Christmas elf hats.
So when he told me that you two were onto something big, the find of a lifetime, he said, well, I was intrigued. But he's made grand promises before, haven't you, Victor? And here we are again. Another fool's errand.
Jeez, does he always go on like this?
Take it easy, Navarro. So, I'm afraid the time is up.
So,
Unless, of course, you found something in there, Mr.
which
Drake,
bands
that might
or,
compensate for all
let's
this
say,
unrest.
releases you guys
It's
are
screwing with you, Nate. They heard everything.
after this year? Which bands or releases you are most eagerly awaiting for?
What does a Kriegsmarine map have to do with El Dorado?
What, you think this is a coincidence? The Germans were after the same treasure. That map has something to do with it. So, we square?
For now. But just in case you need a reminder.
Hey, come on, leave him out of it.
Yeah, don't you guys usually just cut off a finger or something?
That's far too vulgar. No, I think this will hurt him a bit more.
Now, whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, Roman. He's got nothing to do with...
Why revenge?
Sully! Son of a bitch!
That is out actually pretty soon too.
Stop him!
I just died. What the fuck? Really? Seriously, what the hell? Gotta say, I haven't even bothered checking out the single track by Revenge just yet.
That's for leaving me at the dock. What the hell are you doing here? Listen, I'm a good enough reporter to follow a couple of no-luck tomb robbers.
Well, yeah, Paul, I mean, take a look at the...
Well, you're down to one tomb robber now.
Take a look at the Cult of Fire
And we're next if we don't get
live prisons, or what it used to be.
Please tell me you have a gun.
They had something we call in Scandinavia, or well, in Sweden, in Finland, we call those Christmas elves, call them tomten or tonttu. Tonttu means Christmas elf, and it seemed like these guys had like tonttu hats. So essentially, Christmas elf hats.
Drake, look out!
They're shooting at you too, you know.
Oh yeah. Assault rifle.
I see them.
Whoa.
There they are.
My precious. Yeah, new events might be interesting though. Even though I mean, I kind of like it, and at the same time, it's also a little bit of a band that gets actually a little bit old after a while. I mean, it's brutal and violent, but also quite repetitive too easily. But I don't know, it might be really good also.
No.
And personally, I'm waiting for the new Enslaved album coming out in fall. And some guy asked me on the channel,
What the hell
I mean
is
on the
this
one of the
place
videos anyway, asked me that
Long
if I
story.
could do revenge
later.
interview. It was kind of a funny question considering that Revenge hasn't been doing interviews for like, I don't know, ever, or at least like 15 years.
Oh crap.
I mean, of course, I would like to interview bands like that. Then again, which band I didn't want to interview. So, here we have it. But it really would be cool to
Whoa.
really would be cool to interview such bands, but bands that they don't do interviews, well, it's
Never
not
a dull
likely that
moment, huh?
doing them on the video for Rauta is
These
gonna
guys aren't messing around.
make people change their minds. Hello, John. Thanks for your question. Never been friends with someone in real life and they were in a band, but you didn't like their band's music. Well, quite a few times that actually happened to me. Many times, many times. I know some great people who don't make that good music, so it's not that uncommon, really. New Vatain album out? To be honest, I don't know. Well, I'm kind of lucky to know a lot of good bands from my friends as well. Good examples would be from the death metal side of bands like Torture Killer and Morbid Vomit, which are, I think, among the best Finnish death metal bands. So I'm kind of happy to know those guys actually. But way too many bands from friends are not that good. Yeah, I think Watain's last album might have been very well. Maybe even the best. I know one guy from Demilich. I know the vocalist. He actually kind of befriended me a few years ago. I didn't know him. I don't know how he knew me, but I think through mutual friends, and because way before Rauta I've been reviewing music in Finland for written format. So maybe he kind of knew me through that. So I'm talking about Antti Booman.
Stay with me.
And he seemed like a really nice guy. But can't say I know other guys from Demilich.
Over there.
Over here, I think. Yeah, this way.
Now I need more ammo. But there are definitely lots of bands, lots of people with not too shabby bands. I remember actually seeing some of these shows and, like in a local band gig evening. And guys are like, hey, did you see our show? What did you like it? And you're like, oh man, not really my cup of tea. So it's sometimes easier to just be kind of a polite and say,
You always been this
well, I
happy?
was actually having some beers and talk, so I kind of missed your show.
No offense.
No.
None taken.
Usually I just say,
UK
not my
2642.
cup of tea.
You got
I
that?
mean,
Yeah, what is it?
It's Kriegsmarine coordinates. I think I know where the Spanish
it doesn't
took
do
El
any
Dorado.
good to be a douchebag and an asshole to your friends. But then again,
If the Spanish
lying
found the
doesn't do
treasure,
good
they had to move it there, to that island.
anyways. So it's
Well,
just
what are we waiting
better to
for?
say that
I'll get
if you
the
don't like
story and you
your
get
friend's band
whatever it
because
is you're
it's
after.
not good or not the
Hey, this
style
isn't
of
gonna be a
what
vacation.
you like,
I can
just
take
say
care
it
of
like,
myself.
don't do it.
Besides,
Sorry,
you own one.
Luca Quadrarelli, what is sick?
I suppose I do.
Please let me know what is sick.
We're on the trail of the lost treasure of
Oh,
El
funny
Dorado,
anecdote
and
which I
it's
never
brought us
mentioned is
here
that
to this tiny
talking about
island in the
Demilich,
middle of the
that I
Pacific
actually
Ocean.
Let's get a closer look.
kind of
I hope we're the first
tried
ones
to
here.
become the vocalist of Demigod,
Will
another
we discover
Finnish
the ruins of a
death metal
forgotten
band from the
colony and a fortune in Spanish
90s.
gold? Or does the island have darker
I
secrets in store
was-
for us?
I kind of auditioned for the
What the hell was that?
vocalist spot
Anti-aircraft fire?
back in the 1994, 1995, but didn't get the spot obviously.
We're on fire!
Alright, Luca, thanks for answering me. Yeah, this is pretty nice.
Does this thing even have parachutes?
Hello, Grim.
Good time to look.
Where are you guys from? Where are you guys like Grim and Luca from?
I hope these things still work.
Yes, Cosmic. I kind of knew some of the guys from
Done this before?
Demigod. I was living in the same city for a couple of years. I was studying, so I got to know most of the guys. Well, eventually everybody except the ex-vocalist. So I
Are you coming?
kind of
Kind of busy right now.
auditioned for the spot. Gyro, yeah. Usually the Finnish honesty isn't problem among other Finns, so it's kind of easy. Thanks, look, California, that's a great place. We're from California, if you don't mind me asking. I've been a few cities in California and I know it's a huge state. Oh, Germany, great. Germany's a great country as well. Hello, Albeard. Hello, Brazil. That's a place I've never been to. Sorry, Luca. The guys from B-Hexen have said no. I've asked them, I know the main guys from B-Hexen, and they said no. But Sargeist / Horna, that is supposed to take place with the main guys from Horna and Sargeist. And hello, GD. I know you're from the Windy City. Never been there myself, but one day I promised myself I want to go to the city of Al Capone. Cheers, Paul. Have a great night out. Be nice. Be well. It was nice talking to you. Yeah, I mean, Latin American people are so goddamn
missing. Most likely dead.
so goddamn passionate. That's really true. Yes, Halbeard, Shadowrock. We have actually. I've known Shadowrock from like in the late 90s, pretty much the same time as with Satanic Warmass or Werewolf. And I've talked to Shadowrock a couple of times, and he has agreed to do a video interview with me. Yeah, I've been once to a real jungle in Vietnam, actually. It was great. I pretended to be a soldier in the Vietnam War. Yeah, Shadowrock is he's a nice, laid-back guy. Not very talkative. He's way more your typical Finn than me, for example. I mean, as you know, I like to talk a lot. But Shadowrock, he's more of a not silent type, but you know, not talking so much. And yes, he was in the same documentary with me, Eternal Flame of Gehenna. You might have spotted me as there as a long-haired version. Yeah, Shadowrock is nice and really laid back, but usually I end up talking more to his girlfriend, or is it actually called wife? I'm not sure. Anyway, I usually talk more with her than Shadowrock. Shadowrock is usually more on the background, just, you know, kind of a silent. He's just kind of a cool in a way. I've been doing that. But he knows me, and he has said, yeah, sure, let's do a video interview. Spellgod is a very, very nice and very talkative guy. He's from the kind of eastern part of Finland, and people from there, the same area as Demilich, by the way, they're more kind of like how to say it? They have this weird kind of a unique feeling how they are going. Yeah, I have asked Mikko Aspa to do video interviews, but I was surprised also that he wasn't into doing that interview with me, because I mean he was after all in that documentary. Actually around the same time in the documentary where he is having the part, that's where I am featured also. Actually saying pretty much the same. Well, Revenge, sorry I missed a question about Belphegor and Revenge. Revenge don't do interviews, so I would have interviewed them a year ago when they played in Finland. Belphegor, maybe, if they're up for that, if I get to see them here. I mean, with the current state of Rauta's budget, we're not really able to travel to other places. Hello, New Dawn. Aspa is a great guy. He's more talkative than Shadrach, but not as talkative as me. Maybe he's more in the middle ground.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Mikko has actually released music from 2 of my bands. Did you know that? Just one of those anecdotes which I just happen to love. I think Eternal Flame of Gehenna it might be out on YouTube. I am not actually sure. I think it's on the, on the internet anyway, but I think it's on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. Gyro, yeah, I think most people would find America weird in that sense, but for me, I liked being in America. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot, and for me it wasn't so weird. Hello, Sinanju. Where are you from? And New Dawn and Hollybeard and Cosmic, thank you for confirming my thinking. I was pretty sure that that documentary is on YouTube with subs, but I wasn't 100% sure. It's a few years old documentary now, so no wonder it's there. Sinanju, Italy. Okay, cool. We're from Italy. Are you safe even with this corona shit? No, Grim. I think there are lots of people who are more more open to talk about. I mean, after all, Americans are descendants of European people, so I don't think it's that weird. Italians are actually quite talkative. Thank you, Sinanchu. Nice to hear that you like the channel. Good to hear, Sinanchu. Ha ha, Cosmic. That's a good one, actually. Well, Sinanchu, that's a good thing to hear. I'm happy that you don't
Oh, great.
You don't have that shit. There's one motherfucker. Blasphemer. Blasphemer. Yes. That's very true. I mean, it's pretty accurate actually. I mean, most British descendants, British origin Americans, they basically were fed up with that kind of a ruler thing. So they went for kind of a new hope.
There he is! Hunt him down! Fire!
God damn it, motherfuckers! These motherfuckers keep popping up. I think Germans have been quite talkative, at least to me. That's my experience in places like Berlin and whatever. So I think German people are quite talkative. Or have been, maybe because me being from Finland. Synergy inspired by what? Halbeard, alright, cool. Werewolf is a nice guy, he's quite talkative. He's very social guy. But in my experience, Italians are very talkative, and seems like most Germans are too. To be honest, I don't remember what Nazgul's Metal Archives page is like, so can't really comment on that. I gotta check it out later on. Please remind me of that, like on the comments on the videos, so I might actually check it out for you. Halbeard, alright. Thanks for clearing that out for me. I mean, I've been to places like Wacken a few times and Berlin, and it seems like German people are like talking a lot. And when they found out that I was from Finland, they were goddamn eager to buy me beer. Actually, told that story to some other people. Here are like on one of these streams, like how I was drinking beer with Germans at some local bar in Berlin, and I just passed out in the bar. Alright, Grim, I'll take your word for that. I mean, you must be right about it. I just don't know.
Well, that's weird.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Lauri is surrounded by Japanese video games. I mean, he's an avid video gamer. He's maybe more gamer than me. Well, not maybe more, but I mean, because I mean we both play games a lot. Well, a lot and a lot. It depends where you compare it, but I mean, yeah. Yeah, Germans are great people as far as I know. Grim, that might be the case, or maybe you're just so weird that nobody wants to talk to you. Oh, just joking. Yeah, but I mean, obviously it depends from people to people. Like I said, most Finns are not as talkative as I am. But, I mean, it's not like I'm the only one, obviously. Yeah, and metal or any kind of stuff is kind of a bonding thing. So obviously, for example, when I go to festivals, I go to different events. Of course, I meet people who are more inclined to talk about bands and whatever. And yeah, Lauri is interested in retro gaming, but he's also interested in new games. He has actually like bought some games from me in the past. I wasn't supposed to throw the grenade there. Pilsner beer is actually quite crap. Czech people are great though. Sorry, I missed. Who is Dork? Sidanchu. I don't know which games Lauri is playing nowadays, but for example, I remember he wanted to borrow Last of Us from me, and I think Mafia 3 when it came out. Gyro, that's very true that, you know, people who meet each other at the fests kinda are inclined to talk about the bands because why Nazgul is a dork? In which ways? And I finally found the reload button. What a dork I am. Knock knock, who's there? Jerry's here, motherfucker. Yeah, Naughty Dog makes really good games. Me in general, I'm all about good stories, games, but I really enjoy open world games. Die already, motherfucker. Witcher 3 is still, for me, in work in progress. I kind of started it, but I never played it too much.
This could help.
Gotta say, I kind of miss going to Wacken, even though last few years haven't really been my cup of tea when it comes to the actual bands. But I mean, there's something magical when you actually
That'll come in handy.
go to these bigger festivals with lots of bands and lots of kind of a like-minded people drinking beer with you. Just came to my mind now that you were talking about camping. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I haven't really started Witcher 3 just yet, is that it's so goddamn long. I know, I mean, with my gaming hours, it would last for like months. I mean, I was playing like Red Dead Redemption 3 for like, I don't know, more than 6 months anyway. Something like maybe 9 months. Camping at Finnish festivals is definitely a thing. Not all festivals, obviously. It's not like places like Tuska do it, but places like Numirok, for example, which is kind of a midsummer fest. Camping is like half the thing. You just camp, barbecue, and drink with your friends. It's as important as seeing those bands. And yeah, I'm aware of those DLCs with Witcher, and I'm keen to play them as well, should I like the game as much as I...
You won't be so lucky this time.
Well, Finns can be actually quite close to each other, because once we have our booze, we don't really care. Blasphemer, that kind of makes sense. About online interviews, I really don't know, to be honest. I've been thinking about it, but I don't know. I haven't actually asked any of those bands just yet. So we'll have to see it how it goes. Gyro, yeah, that's a very Finnish thing, to be honest. We just go to in the middle of forest or a field or whatever. You just have your tent and you just get booze, get laid, listen to music, do some barbecue. You know, Finnish people are quite simple folk with simple pleasures in so many ways. And Grim, yes, I'm kind of a sucker for side quests as well.
Cheery.
But you people, if you ever come to Finland, I would strongly recommend, that is, if you don't mind some other bands, not just black metal, I would definitely recommend Numirok. It's kind of a thing, you know. to have this kind of a midsummer thing and, you know, just enjoy your booze and barbecue and whatever. Yay! Too many bears. Like, where do you live? If you have to be afraid of bears in the woods. Kind of weird that Germany's, you know, making camping forbidden like that. Any info why it's forbidden? Like why it's not allowed? That's so accurate. No fun allowed in Germany. We don't do it. We don't do it. Ah, yeah. Otherwise it will be World War III. Yeah, no fun. Yeah, I could imagine those mountain lions being kind of something that you don't want to fuck with. Okay, wildfire. Well, that kind of makes sense. Hello, Minas Morgul. Well, you have to understand that Germans, they lost the war. So, obviously, well, you're destined to become cocked, like you said it. Because when you lose war, well, that's how you're punished. Canada seems to be very laid-back country, what I've been reading. I mean, what if you don't just put that fire, you know? Are you still not allowed? I mean, you don't need a campfire necessarily. Like, what the fuck? Hello, Autumn Leaves. It's weird for me to just read your comments and suddenly a new name pops up that I didn't know to exist on this chat. It's weird. I see like, okay, they're like 12 names. And suddenly like they're like, what the fuck? New names popping up. It's cool. Are you asking me, Zinanju, what is my daily beer? Or in general? What the fuck I'm doing wrong? Maybe I should focus on the game a little bit more. Because I don't have a regular beer. Yeah, but Canada also gave you blasphemy. And then that metal noir québécois. That as well. Grim, alright, I get you. Blasphemers from Alaska. Well, that's great. I met one Alaskan guy in Finland at Steelcase. It was cool. Yeah, Canada has quite a lot of great bands, but I think the Quebecois scene is the best thing that, in terms of metal, anyways. You know, for the rest, Deletier, Thessar, Monarch, lots of great bands from Canada, especially Quebec. Frozen Shadows. I would love to visit Canada and Alaska. This Alaskan friend who I met at Steel Chaos, he was telling me how to actually get salmon from those streams, you know, with bare hands. Guy wrote, that really sounds like a great place. That highway, you mean? I really can't compare US BM to Canada BM because both have good bands, but none of them, not in huge quantities. Well, that's just me anyway.
Whoa.
So name some good bands from US BMC and then Cosmic. Well, yeah, and the best thrash metal obviously comes from the United States.
Pardon me.
And good thrash metal, you never have too much of that. And also great death metal, and heavy metal, and hard rock. I don't know. I've seen GBK even live, but somehow it doesn't really appeal to me. And Black Witchery, I mean, it's kind of a poor man's arch code. Yeah, Norway is fucking expensive. And Florida death metal, now that's a classic thing. Xastur isn't that good in my opinion. It's kind of a too much of a bedroom black metal. Hello, black metal gamer. I guess you already, well, you missed that question already. I actually talked about it today, but my favorite Horna. Oh, sorry, you were asking favorite Satanic Warmaster album. Might be Oberflute. Not sure, but that is something that I really enjoyed when it came out. Blasphemer, that sounds so great. I mean, I'm no fisherman, but I like to eat salmon, and I would love to try out that hand fishing in Alaska. Definitely would like to visit Alaska someday. Autumn Leaves, have you heard Abzu and Judas Iscariot? Alcohol is very expensive in Norway, by the way. Yeah, Karelian Satanic Mass Satanist Madness is also a really good album.
Whoa!
If you could have a BM band remake or redo songs, what would it be? In so many ways, I would like to say early Bathory ones with kind of a stronger production, but I don't know if they actually need that. Inquisition is pretty okay, and it's actually a band that has been getting better later on, I think. It's actually rather good live band too. I mean, I saw them like 15 years ago, and they were all pretty cool. All of early Burzum redos. Goddamn no. I mean, Burzum did some remake of an album, and it wasn't that good. It really wasn't that good. I cannot remember the name of that album right out of my mind, but it was maybe 10 years ago when Burzum did some redoing of their first albums, and it wasn't good. And Demons is a good American USBM band, yeah. Leviathan is pretty much like Saster, in my opinion, quite mediocre-ish. It's, just too much of a bedroom black metal band. Too many albums out, too weak production and stuff like that. I don't hate it, I don't dislike it, but I think it could be a lot better. Black Metal Goat, Black Metal Gamer. It depends how good your pork is, obviously. Aske, thank you. That is the name of the album, yes. I actually got it for review when it came out, and to be honest, wasn't that good. Battle West, do it like the Sabaton way, Battle West. Yeah, bedroom black metal is usually kind of a too weak.
Oh man.
And I think the Burzum charm is partially the rawness of Burzum. I haven't seen the Lord of Chaos movies yet. Or movie. But I gotta say, I think this might be a blasphemous comment, but I think the Stormblast remake by Dimmu Borgir, I think that's better than the original one, because the original one is so goddamn plastic.
Shoot to kill.
This must be the shittiest assault rifle ever. I don't know if there's a thing called depressive sound. I think it's more about the riffs. It's just that too many solo project, bedroom bands that are going for this kind of a depressive sound or, feeling. They just have this weak guitar sound, weak drums, or drum machine, which is just worse. Cosmic Church, not really my thing. Yeah, it's a lot of bad things are said about Euronymous, but I think he's the one why Mayhem actually is that good, in my opinion. But Weakerness usually was more of a badass. Well, yeah, well, the suicidal depressive black metal is a kind of a subgenre, but it doesn't necessarily have to be with lo-fi sound. I mean, just listen to Shining albums, for instance. They are not badly produced, and they have really dark, really eerie black metal atmosphere. But then again, obviously, Xastor and Leviathan and bands like that made it kind of a really fuzzy sounding, and that doesn't really help it to enjoy it. And again, Abyssic Hate does kind of a fuzzy sound, and it really supports the music. But I think Shining and Forgotten Tomb had rather good sound, at least in that particular subgenre. For me, when this virus thing is out, I want to go back to the gym, like beyond my home gym. Halbeard, I totally agree. Some Bethlehem is pretty good. They have so crazy vocal styles, and it's kind of a Doom meets black metalish thing in a way. But I don't know, I never got to like that too much. I mean, definitely really a unique sound with that band, partially because of those vocals. But really can't say I'm a fan of the band. Best Ukrainian band. That's a tough question. Because there are some good bands. Yeah, Dictius de Necare or something like that. Isn't Silencer out with only like one album, Death Pierce Me or something like that? If I remember correctly, it was pretty okay album, but didn't really grasp me by the balls, should I say. But about those Ukrainian bands, I mean, there are lots of pretty decent, pretty nice bands, but never became too big fan of that. I think religious black metal genre can suck my hairy balls. I really don't like them. But two first albums by Deadspell Omega, they are great. Halbeard, thanks for
Doesn't look
confirming.
good.
I only remember that Death Pierce Me album, but nothing after that. What's my favorite Sepultura album? Definitely Arise. Janne Julma. Kyllä, kyllä. Juu. Not coming. What about Clandestine Blaze stuff? Don't have really favorite, but I think it's pretty solid band overall. Running the Light is some band I never actually got to listen. I only know it by name. You're asking me so many questions, I have hard time to reply those questions before they vanish from my screen. I mean, I don't mind you asking the questions, but I might just miss them. So in case I'm not answering your questions, just put them there on the screen for another time. Judas Priest or Motorhead? I like some, but I mean, I never got to listen to much of that. Judas Priest is actually one of those bands that I have missed in the same way one of you guys said that missed Bathory. Winter, by the way, Winter is back with a new band and also reissue of the first and only album, and I got it already as a copy. I'm gonna do it on Rauta. It's good stuff. It's death doom, the way it should be. What are the black metal bands and death metal bands you cannot stand? Well, I can stand pretty much everything, but Karach Angren is one of those bands that kind of annoy me. Cosmic, what spoilers? Kramer is the best thing in Seinfeld, but Seinfeld is blah.
Sweet.
Or is it Kramer?
Oh no. Lena.
But I don't think there are actually death metal and black metal bands which I cannot really stand. I mean, most just don't move me, I guess. I didn't get Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't think I will. It might be a good game, but I don't know. The thing is, when I worked as a tech support in the late 90s, I had to kind of test run that Final Fantasy 7 so many times that I kind of didn't feel like playing it. God of War, I have actually played it a couple of years ago when it came out. God of War is great. Well, I wouldn't mind if death metal bands were more like trash. And by the way, many bands from the 90s that started, they were kind of like trash. I mean, listen to early Cannibal Corpse, listen to early Morbid Angel, listen to early Death. They're very much like trash. So I mean, trash being part of the death metal, it's vital. Necroth, that is something I haven't heard. Yeah, Morbid Angel is one of the first ones, and so is Death. But Death and Trash have gotten like hand in hand. Then again, so has black metal and Trash. I mean, if you listen to early Venom, early Bathory, you realize it's quite trashy. If things like early Bathory were done nowadays, bye Halbeard. So I mean, if early Bathory was nowadays done, you know, as a new band, people would be saying, yeah, it's black trash. Gotta say, I didn't even notice that on AK-47. I'm way too busy to just talk with you guys. Lustre is pretty okay. I mean, it's maybe a too happy for me, but Lustre is pretty okay. Katamania, by the way, that's a band that was so much spat upon by Finnish scene already, so like 20 years ago. I think a newer generation actually likes Katamania, but to be honest, I think a lot of people actually hated the band. And Autumn Leaves, if you have to ask me, I would say Swedish blondes, they are the best blondes in the world, among maybe all American blondes. Interfacer, you have your own AK-47? Wow, that's impressive. I really don't like punk. I never got into that. I mean, I don't hate it, and I knew Finnish punk guys back in the 90s. Back in the days, punk and metal guys were not that much different group. I mean, we're a different group, but I mean, it wasn't divided.
I see him. Whoa. Oh.
It wasn't that much
Better
different.
watch where I'm going.
Ah, Texas. All right. You have lots of guns there, but just thinking, ain't AK-47 kind of a commie shit? You know, I mean, you have your own, I don't know, AR-16 or something like that. Not an AR-16, it's M16 and AR. Is it 18? AR-15. Okay. All right. Okay. But that's what I mean. You have your own American assault rifles. Atlantean Codex and Lunar Shadow. Haven't really listened to those bands, to be honest. Black Metal Gamer. No, they shouldn't make. That would be fucking stupid.
Hang on.
I know that AK is a classic, and I understand it because it's 7.62. It's more powerful than the American 5.56 ones, but I really don't know about guns. But what I've understood is that, yeah,
Shoot the kill.
Better watch where
I've
I'm going.
understood that the reliability of AK-47 is what it makes so popular. I can imagine you being on the edge. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if in the States things would be like going into brutal shifts, like if you would split government. I don't really like power metal bands, but I mean there are some bands which are kind of a power heavy metal hybrids, if you will. So I've enjoyed some of them, but don't have any favorites.
He's over there.
But in Alaska you don't have those California babes. What is my favorite black metal vocalist? Well, obviously Nocturno Caldo is my all-time favorite, but I must say Wharton is very good also. Who else? I really like Satyr from Satyricon. Thank you, Sidanchu. enjoy your evening. It was nice to have your questions and comments. Take care. And don't get sick with that coronavirus. And not again this fight. Attila is also great, yeah, and actually hard from Gorgorod. I always found that name very hilarious. I know hard means hate, but still, it always I like to think it's hat. And yeah, you know, so many ways this corona is gonna do us a favor. I mean, it's gonna kill mostly elderly or weak people. So it's kind of a brutal thing to say, but it's killing people who are already living on their, you know, borrowed time, so to speak. You want to get mastering done. Well, there are probably a lot of people who are ready to master it. Fuck! I was looking at the comments and once again I died. Yes, Black Metal Gamer, I kind of agree. I think it's gonna be a dark blessing in so many ways. Cosmic, I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming for myself, but the thing is, I'm taking a look at the comments whenever and then I get into the action. Yeah, I think Corona is doing us a favor in the terms of you know, like how people are taking care of their hygiene and stuff like that. Grenades, motherfuckers! I haven't played Doom Eternal, it's not likely I will play it. I didn't like the previous two. Five baby birds. What did you do with that nest? Blasphemer, yeah, and I hated the kind of a spawning enemy. I mean, I got fed up with that shit back in the 90s. So nowadays I want more story and not just some spawning enemies. Interfacer, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, watching nature is fucking great. I mean, birds and whatnot. Because I live in the countryside, I get to see those seabirds quite often. You know, they're just here hanging out, and it's really cool actually. Sometimes I see foxes and deer. You know, they just hang around here. They used to come to the backyard to eat apples and whatnot. Once I got like 5 deers at one time at the backyard, and I took a photo of them just hanging out like a few feet away from the building. So yeah, watching nature is pretty fucking cool. And this comes from an urban city boy. I mean, I like big cities as well. You know, I like places like New York, London, places like that. But I also do like nature a lot, you know. So I can enjoy both of these worlds, so to speak.
Eyes ahead, don't look down. Thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Fuck you and your God. God damn, this whiskey tastes so good. I need more whiskey. Especially now that your comments kind of disappeared. I just love whiskey. Whiskey and good beer. That's one good thing about America. All the excellent craft beer Americans are making. So goddamn good brewery places. I mean, if you're a beer lover, like I am, America is kind of like heaven. No, it fucking tastes same. That tells you, that's like saying all the metal sounds the same. All the different varieties in craft beer are like subgenres in metal music. So fuck you with your opinion. That doesn't make any sense. One could say, like, for example, IPA is, for example, black metal. Arrogant Bastard is great it's a great brewery, by the way, that's Stone. They have other great beers as well. But can't really say they taste the same. There are dozens of different styles of beer, and they don't fucking taste the same. That comment really doesn't make any sense. No, even not all the IPAs taste the same. There are different variations.
Serious.
And IPA is just one of the style. IPA is different from APA or just pale ale, and not to mention pilsners, not to mention different kind of lagers, not to mention different kind of sour beers, and those cloister beers, you know, dark beers, different kind of ales, sweet beers.
Wasn't I just out here?
Autumn leaves, I get it, yeah. I totally understand that thing. Because it is like that. You're pretty much thinking like... I remember when I heard for the ball thrower for the first time, like early 90s. I couldn't, you know, make anything out of that growly vocals, and it was way too brutal for me. But I mean, obviously I understood that listening to Metallica is one thing, listening to ball thrower is one thing, or well, death metal, and thrash metal was different thing from heavy metal, or grindcore, or you know, black metal obviously. But black metal came a little bit later for me, so.
Alright, it'll hold it.
Well, Cosmic, that just tells you you haven't been exploring them fully enough. I mean, okay, let's put it this way. If you only listen to Swedish melodic black metal bands, you can say they all sound the same. Be it Batain, be it Dissection, be it Mercruning, be it Dark Funeral. But then you start exploring different countries, and you kind of realize it's a whole different thing. For example, those Chile IPAs are very, very different from traditional IPAs. So there are strong differences. The basic IPAs, I can agree, they are pretty much the same. It's like Norwegian black metal kind of a thing. And sour beers are very, very different from each other. I love sour beers, but obviously not all of them. Today I had a citrus spontan beer, some 7.5 strong maybe. It was really interesting, to be honest. Sour beers don't even taste like beer almost, you know. But you know, craft beer can mean tasteless beer as well. I mean, some craft beers are just like the mainstream ones. So it's not like a style of beer automatically, that is.
Oh no.
Craft beer is like Harpoon is pretty nice, yeah. Craft beer is like an indie band. It doesn't define style so much, you know. It's more about whether it's done by big brewery or not. So saying like craft beer suck is like saying underground bands suck, you know?
No.
But yeah, sour beers are kind of like they are at the same time very hipster, and they are also at the same time quite underground and marginal, you know, because the style is sometimes very, very brutal. I mean, it's just like listening to some technical death metal. Not most people are gonna understand it. But I think lager beer is like, that's like the Five Finger Death Punch thing. Worldwide available beers that I highly recommend. Now that's a good question because, well, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna say it soon. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's this actually this American, no cheap beer. Cheap beer is boring, not necessarily though. Because in America most beer are rather cheap. But it's this, fuck. It's this American brand which I just can't get on my tongue. Guinness is great. No, Sam Adams is pretty nice lager. I think it's better than most European lagers, but it's not that. It's this fuck me. Well, but Budweiser is. American lagers are usually pretty goddamn tasteless, like Coors and Budweiser and what's the Miller, you know, that's all, they're all pretty tasteless. Budweiser is just like drinking some mineral water with color. Fist is also a band that released only one album. Fuck, I'm a little bit annoyed because I cannot remember the name of this American brand that actually makes really good beer. And it's actually sold like in international levels. I don't think Quist is that great, but I mean, it's pretty okay. I remember that Lone Star beer from Texas was quite good actually. Cosmic, it's one of those IPA beers, but I mean they do have other styles as well. I just remember it has this kind of a fish image. God damn, I am annoyed at now that I cannot remember it, because I've tasted different beers by that one brewery. It's nowadays owned by some bigger company, but I don't care. No, it's not Dogfish. Dogfish brewery or beer is actually quite okay. What the hell it is? Well, I will mention it when I remember it. Headshot. Blue Moon isn't my cup of tea. It's wheat beer, which I don't really like. Most wheat beers are just way too sweet for me. I can enjoy citrus in, you know, beer. I can actually like the very kind of a citrus-like or orange fruit-like of taste with beer. It can be really enjoyable IPAs when they're like that. But there is even habanero chili version of this beer I'm thinking of, but I just cannot get the name in my fucking head. And I don't understand why. No, it's not Cutthroat. It's well, It's one with a habaneros. Habanero IPA is one of their kind of a, can I say, sub flavors. No, it's not Sweetwater either. Fuck, I feel like going for my phone and checking out the name, but I can't be arsed to do that right now.
No sign of her. It's either very good or very bad.
I like kind of a bitter beers. They're like good stuff. Yeah, I've had Sam Adams when I was in Boston. And I think Sam Adams is better than most European lagers. Cooper's has some decent stuff, but I don't think they're anything special. But how the fucking annoying it is to just, I cannot remember the name of that really great beer. I have only some lager, the regular type and the dark lager. I used to have Untapped for a couple of years, but then I got rid of it. It started to become too much of a burden, not only to review albums but also to review all those beers on tap. So I got rid of it. It was especially annoying when I was like in New York, for example. I didn't have access to internet on my phone because of the roaming stuff, and then I tasted different beers, and I just couldn't add them on Untapped because I had no internet access. So it was kind of annoying, you know. I don't know if it makes any sense, but I'm still wondering what is the beer. I'm gonna just look it up.
Buka Pintu!
Buka Pintu.
Ah, crap. Sialano! Chepatan Buka Pintu!
One of the worst beers I've ever had was this.
Oh boy.
These Motorhead beers. Belgians have really good beer, especially those kind of monk beers, you know. Like Westmalle and Westvleteren and Chimay. Yes, I'm talking about Abbey Ales. Those cloister beers. Sierra Nevada is pretty okay, and one of my American favorites from the bigger breweries is Lagunitas. You know, I think it's San Francisco based breweries. Lagunitas IPA. That's good stuff. Right now I'm gonna check it out, the Habanero IPA, which I was talking about. Um, because I'm pretty sure I will find it. There's, by the way, one good Finnish habanero IPA also, but that's not what I'm talking about. Let me see. God damn it! How hard it is to find this particular beer. Ballast Point, no. Scalping, yes. That is one of the best IPAs out there. Scalping IPA. That is actually what inspired what I've learned. That what these guys at Brewdog were doing. If you know the Scottish brewery, Brewdog. Brewdog is one of the best breweries in my opinion. They have some really great beers like Punk IPA and Jackhammer IPA. That is something which should be available on international levels. But Ballast Point Scalping Habanero IPA. Well, the Habanero IPA might be too much, but just a regular IPA, really good stuff. Really good stuff. I think that's something you should try. Well, there is good vodka and then there is bad vodka. What can I say? Good chemistry. Okay, I'll put that name. Gotta say, some Finnish beers are just, you know, kind of a suck, but there are good beers nowadays too. Interfacer, sorry, what is expensive? Cosmic, yeah, do that. Yeah, beer is rather expensive to ship. I still have my beer mail order going from Denmark, from Mikkele brewery. I get beer box like every month from that.
Ah, crap.
Yeah, Ballast Point is a little bit expensive, but it's so goddamn good.
This place could use a good plumber.
But the Ballast Point Habanero IPA, shit, that is so good.
Son of a bitch, where did they all come from?
Get your head down!
But yeah, Brewdog is also something that you might want to keep your eye on if you haven't done so far. But Scotch in general make good beer and good whiskey. They know their ways with malty drinks, you know? I've been to Scotland twice, and well, they do have good beer, and obviously, best whiskey in the world.
He's out of ammo! There he is! Hunt him down!
Yeah, it's usually like that. You either go for the cheap shit or you go for the quality. I rather go for the quality because I don't drink that much in volume, so I rather want to have some really good stuff. For example, this Scotch single malts, which I'm doing here when I'm gaming. I only use so little of them, so why would I settle for some cheap shit that makes me, you know, frown my face when I can have just good stuff? But obviously that's just me. Some prefer to get drunk, and if you just want to get drunk, why would you just buy expensive shit? I mean, it wouldn't make sense. And there are some good bourbons too, even though they're not that expensive. What the fuck, Jerry? Focus. So what do you do or did during Easter? Just getting wasted, just getting laid, just eating, just what? Let's say I haven't tasted Buffalo Trace. That sounds like a good name. It makes me kind of want it. Sounds like a good name. Rehearsals, like band rehearsals. Well, nothing wrong with working. Yeah, we have bank holidays, so for the past 3 days I haven't been doing much. Went to the summer cabin, and beyond that, just being lazy. Tomorrow it's the last Easter day before heading back to work. It's a bench press day. So yeah. Yeah, that's the good thing with religious people. They usually have some good food to eat. So you can just like roll your eyes and just gorge that food. Like, yeah, whatever, Jesus. Thank you for the food. Bye bye. luckily, Finland is so secular, you know. It's not like most people here are like religious, so we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, I mean, food is just food, even with cheeses or no cheeses. It's better without cheeses, but I mean, who gives a fuck? You can just eat the goddamn food and enjoy the drinks. For me, it is just, you know, like doing the hello Fuka or Fuko. I don't know how to pronounce that name with those weird ass letters. Anyway, for me, the Easter is pretty much, or any bank holidays like this is just, you know, eating a lot, getting rest,
Jesus,
and
Elena, where are you?
you know, workout.
Wait a minute.
Also, listening to bathroom.
Now, what's so important about that tower? Oh! Son of a bitch! No!
I see him for you to kill.
Get him! Oh, how's that feel? Okay.
Boring. Can't even explode that. Do I know how I can get into doing death metal album covers? You mean you're like a cover artist yourself? Did I understand it correctly? Well, considering that death metal is not where the money is quite hard, but promotion. If you have some works already done, you obviously must have sort of a gallery. I would say you need those social media pages and yes, portfolio, which you can use to get the interest of those bands and labels. Then it's pretty much just getting yourself to get to known to those labels. But as with any bands and promotion as such, it is vital to get yourself known. Well, you can message the bands directly. That's not necessarily a bad idea, but unless you know already which bands are like making a new album, it's kind of hard to find a band that is in need of a cover. But unless you're a known artist, it's easier to start with the bands that are not known. So kind of it goes hand in hand. Unknown bands, unknown artists. As you get more famous, with more name and all that stuff, obviously you will start getting bigger fish. That kind of makes sense, does it not? But I mean, the more you have to show for, that is more art in your portfolio, the more interest you will be getting, because if you have lots of various styles, the bands will eventually pick you up like, hey, what is this guy? Who is this artist? How much does he cost? And you know. But I think everything depends on like what do you have to offer, what is your style, what is your price range, and so forth. And the more reputation you get from these bands, well, like I said, the easier for you it becomes to get so-called bigger fish. And sorry for yawning here, it's almost 3 a.m. So I'm getting a little bit tired. I think I will actually just quit soon. I will just get this into a sweet place, finish my whiskey, and have your last questions going. Questions or comments, Rod, doesn't really matter to me. p.m. here, so we have 12 hours difference, and you were in Alaska, right? All these time zones are the reason why it is sometimes rather hard to
Same symbol, but what's that got to
hard
do with
for
the
me
tower?
to choose the perfect time for the videos to come out, because if I set them too early here, people in North America, well, North America, South America doesn't really matter, are gonna just kind of like miss at around the time when they're out. If I'm gonna set it so it's proper time for you, like a little bit later, then it's too late for people right here, and obviously for people in the Asian countries. So I usually try to use the late afternoon for Finnish people, so it would be like morning time for people at least on the East Coast. But yeah, if I set it like videos like 5 p.m. like I usually do, it's gonna be 5 a.m. for you. I can imagine it being pretty in summertime, because I mean that's how it is in Finland as well. I mean it's rather grim during the winter times, but when we finally get some green here, it actually looks rather pretty. Maybe this one and then that one. Oh yeah. Fuck me. Sideways. So, no questions anymore. So does it mean Jerry can go to the bed? Night Cosmic, I think I will just finish this really soon. Well, I mean this evening, not the game. Interfacer, you did just right. That's the way to go. Get some beer. I would also drink beer, but that would just make me make me piss a little bit more. So I'm sticking with the whiskey. And besides, I don't have many beers here. I just have a few of those craft beers here. Besides, the whiskey doesn't get warm because it's anyway warm, so it's not like I have to worry about that. Like, okay, I forgot to drink my beer while I was gaming, motherfucker. So it's pretty much easier this way. Now I'm fucking clueless where I was supposed to go. Guess I'm losing my focus here. I'm just like, okay, nice trooping around.
Nice.
So it broke the fucking statue, but so what? Okay. Alright, now it makes sense. God damn it. You know, when you're really tired and you try the game, it becomes like, okay, you're losing the focus, and then you're like, fuck this. Fuck this game. It's not gonna work.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No is the way to go. Sometimes the logic of these games is just rather ridiculous.
Yeah. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yay. And I'm like, what the fuck I was supposed to go? I don't even remember anymore. Oh yeah, there was a door. Well, I think the later Uncharted games are way more balanced with platforming and climbing parts. But I agree that
All right.
The Last of Us is better. Somehow these comments, by the way, are cut before it gets to you know, gets here so readable. Like, just The Last of Us has less of that, and it's more action ori. I can imagine action oriented, but it kind of cuts the line.
The hell is she?
Like that. I think I will save when the next cutscene or whatever action part starts. I don't know when. Okay. This is as good as any to just kind of quit to the main part. Alright, guys and gals, thank you for being with me. Oh, 3 hours of gaming and all that stuff. Next week, I think I will continue streaming this one because I want to actually finish some game for a while. So take care and don't get caught with the corona shit. Be well and listen to some good metal stuff. And obviously, more reviews coming your way. And watch out for Tuesday. There's an interview coming right for you. It's gonna be an interesting black metal band from Sweden. What could it be? Stay tuned and you will find out. Until next time, bye bye.